الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين جاهدوا فينا لنهدينهم سبلنا سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. Yesterday at Zainab Center we had a big event, which was the Khatam of the Quran that had been ongoing for a while now. And one of the problems that we had to solve was the ability to stream from this masjid where the event was taking place to the rest of the world. And so we got a gadget. First time we got a gadget, and it was supposedly, was supposed to work in a specific way. But the doubt was there, the risk was there that it would fail. And so what really helped us was the manual that came with it. And we really could not have figured out how this gadget worked if the manual wasn't there. There were specific settings you had to do, and alhamdulillah, it worked because we followed the manual the way it was supposed to work. And so it turned to be a great blessing, alhamdulillah. Something that we had struggled with in the past, now alhamdulillah, it became a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now if you look at this kind of problem solving, there is an even bigger problem that we have to solve, that we have been sent into this world for a very limited amount of time, and that we have to live on iman, we have to die on iman, and we have to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now Allah ta'ala has given each and every one of us various ni'mah, various gadgets that we have limited control over, and we are supposed to use these gadgets, we are supposed to use these tools in order to solve this problem of how do we actually please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how do we actually make it to al-qubur, to our graves, in a state of iman, and in a state that we are radhi with Allah ta'ala and Allah is radhi with us. So for example, Allah ta'ala has given all of us eyes to see, Allah ta'ala has given us tongues to speak with, communicate with, Allah has given us ears to listen with, so on and so forth. Now if we don't look at the manual that came with all of these tools, it becomes very easy to misuse them. Just like with the other gadget, in our mind you're supposed to do this and that, turn the batteries on and off, but it turned out to be exactly the opposite. It was supposed to draw the energy from the phone, and only the manual told us that. Similarly, we become deluded that we own these tools that Allah Ta'ala has given us, and that we can use them however we want to use them. And so for example, we will use our eyes to gaze upon anything that gives us pleasure. And it doesn't matter if it is halal, it doesn't matter if it is haram. We will look at people, we will look at things, ashya, we will look at this dunya. Anything that gives us pleasure, we will do it. This is what we call a misuse of this tool. Now the manual that Allah Ta'ala has given us, and the actualization of this manual, the Quran and the sunnah, tell us that the proper use, the real way that we use this so we can solve the problem, is that we lower our gaze, we control our gaze, and we only look at things that we are supposed to, otherwise it is going to become detrimental to our own physical and spiritual existence. And so this is where the manual is necessary, because if you don't have that, what should stop us? Why should I not look at anything that I want to look at? Why should I not derive pleasure from this dunya that I find myself in? Why can't I look at any person that I want to? Why can't I look at anything on the internet and phones and TV that I want to? So this is a person without guidance, without the manual. Same thing with, for example, our tongues. This ability to communicate is really what differentiates us from the haywanat, that we have the ability to acquire language and express ourselves in those languages. Now, this tongue is there, the ability to speak is there, and if the manual is not there, what stops us from lying, not speaking the truth? What stops us from saying words and saying it in a tone that hurts other people? What stops us from slandering, just making things up about others? What stops us from doing backbiting, right? Attacking other people's honors. I mean, it's the same tongue. So again, the problem is that this is a misuse. And if the guidance, if the manual is there, now we realize, no, this is not how you're supposed to solve the issue. Otherwise, it is going to increase our risk of annihilating ourselves and risk of failing the test that we have been sent to do. So we use the same tongue to speak the truth, to read the Quran, to speak in a way that is ikhlaqi, proper, in proper mannerism and etiquettes, not scream, not use words that hurt others. Right? So this is the proper use, so on and so forth. This is also true when it comes to our inner faculties. So Allah Ta'ala has given each and every one of us the spiritual qalb, the heart, which is part of our ruh. That is the place, that is the maqam of this iman, meaning the heart actually opens up and accepts certain truths. If it doesn't open up, if it remains closed, summun bukmun umyun, then it does not go beneath the superficial. It only looks at the zahir and it makes certain assumptions about the world that we live in. Now the heart, we can say without any issue that it is a maqam of muhabba, it is a maqam of emotion, it is a maqam of attachment, it is a maqam of faith, iman, in certain things, right? And so now the improper use would be that we fill this vessel that Allah has given us with the attachment with the dunya, with the attachment with other people, with the attachment with our own desires, right? Muhabba of people that we know that we're not supposed to love, and things we know we don't have, we're not supposed to love. Hubb dunya, right? The love of the dunya, attachment with the dunya. So the vessel is there, and this is a great misuse of that. And again, the problem will not be solved if the heart does or is not taken under control. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at this heart, and on the qiyamah, hussila ma fi sudur, it will be opened up for everybody to witness. So Allah ta'ala looks at this because this is the primary faculty that is there. يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. A heart that has been properly used. And so if we put in some effort, iman, the nur of iman can be enlightened in it. A little bit of effort is required. If we put some effort, we can feel the fire of muhabba, of ishq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we can't, how do you love someone that you can't see, you can't hear, you cannot feel in terms of our five senses? How do you love someone? So this is something that we have ignored, that it is with the qalb, with our inner intuition, what is known as al-wajdan, that muhabba, that ishq is realized, is actualized. And so you don't need to see Allah Ta'ala to love Him. You don't need to hear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to love Him. You don't need to use any of your five senses to be able to love Him. If the qalb, if the spiritual heart is properly used. It's up to us. The guide is there. The practical way of using the guide, I actually had to go and look at YouTube video of how to use that gadget yesterday. Right? So that's the practical, because somebody showed this is what you do. And so it's so amazing that sometimes if it is not clear to us, what the Quran demands from us, very easy. Look at the beautiful life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He has made it so easy. He had made it so easy, alhamdulillah, to understand and to realize, how to use these ni'mah that Allah Ta'ala has given us. Now it's up to us, because the ni'mah will be taken away from us. Eventually, a time will come that one after another they will weaken. And when all the ni'mah are taken away, this is what we call maut. Kullu nafsin za'iqat. And so we are walking towards that. We are moving towards that specific hal, and nothing can stop it. Nothing can stop it. So it is important that we utilize these times just like Ramadan, and ask ourselves that, okay, so these gadgets, these tools are here. How am I using them? Am I using them to solve the problem that I find myself in? Or am I just using them frivolously and just wasting my time and wasting all my energies and just using them in a way that they will become witnesses against me on the day of judgment? So inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that in this blessed month of Ramadan, and now that we are entering the last ashara, the last 10 days of Ramadan, itkum minan nar, a chance of getting ourselves emancipated from the fire, whether it is the fire of our own desires, whether it is the fire of our own sins, whether it is the fire of punishment in dunya, in qabr, on Yawm al-Hashr, or whether it is the fire of Jahannam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has just put this incredible sale on. This incredible sale just started. The nights are very valuable, especially the taq, or what we call the odd nights. Any one of them can be the night of Laylatul Qadr. And so it is up to us. It is up to us how we realize them and what we do with them. And I can guarantee you this, that if you tire yourself, within a day, all that fatigue will be gone within one day. Actually, on the day of Eid, you will forget that you were tired in the last 10 days. But the reward, the ajr of whatever you do will remain, and who knows, maybe one of these nights is what we actually needed to solve the issue of going into our qubur with iman and raza of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wallahu alam. May Allah ta'ala make it easy. Ameen ya Rabbul Alameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.